Hey everybody, thanks for stopping by to check on us. Today we're going to do my first seed harvesting and saving video, and we're going to do the parsnip plant that I had growing next to the strawberries. I'll put a screenshot or something in here so you can see what that full-grown plant looked like when it was still out there with the strawberries. It was essentially growing itself for seed, so I just let it go to seed. And this is what we end up with. So in a moment here, we'll get started with harvesting those seeds. I'm going to show you how to do that, what to look for, and of course, how to store them. Okay, so now I believe with most seeds, I'll say most, probably all, but with most seeds, when you're trying to save them, one big thing that you want to keep in mind is that they need to be completely dry. And when a plant decides to go to seed, you do need to wait until it looks dead like this, until it looks all done before you harvest it for seeds. There are a few on this head of parsnip that I took off here that are green. Those probably won't be as good for seed saving as, say, these brown ones. So we'll do that. And as you can see, just by shaking it and touching it a little bit, they're already starting to fall off. With parsnip, though, there's a couple things to keep in mind. These are the seeds. See how the part I'm squeezing right here? This one. So all of these things right here are seeds. And this part where it splits off, it might seem like these are the holes to seeds, because on other plants, this is kind of what a seed hole would look like. You might have this split right here that you see. I'm trying to get it to show up in the plant. But all of these are seeds. There you can see it right there, just above my thumb. The parsnip seed is very flat. I'll take one off and show you. And that is what it looks like up close. So these are pretty straightforward. With these, you just kind of peel off what looks like the best ones. These ones are all wrapped up in cobwebs. And I have more seeds here that I'm possibly going to need, so I'm just going to harvest a few of these. That's a really nice one. Kind of just rub it between your hands a little bit to get them to fall off. You don't want to squeeze them too hard, put any kind of pressure on them really. You don't want to bend them. The genetics of the plant are inside this tiny little piece of thing that looks like plant garbage. So you just want to keep that in mind when you're doing this. It's important for any seeds that you save to be completely dry. The plant kind of gets you started in that process, as you can see, because it dries itself out outside. I picked these off of that parsnip plant about a week ago, so they've just been sitting here on a table drying out. So these should be pretty ready to go for saving in seed packets. What you can see right here on the napkin is more than what you'd probably get in one seed packet from a store or wherever you order your seeds from. So I have far more than I need, and I don't plant like an entire field of parsnips. This is just for my personal use. But like a lot of plants in nature, it always produces more than you might need because you don't know which ones are going to actually germinate and survive. Let's do a little bit of a comparison. I saw a few things fall off here that maybe aren't so good. So when you're going through and deciding which seeds to keep and which ones maybe not to, I would keep the one on the right and discard the one on the left here. That one does not look as healthy. It's kind of really dried out and shriveled up. It's smaller. And just from my experience, I know what a healthy parsnip seed should look like, and it's this right here. This does not look healthy. So I wouldn't save that. I wouldn't put that in your seed packet. So just in case you're wondering what you want to do with any plant that you're allowing to go to seed, or any plant that has decided to go to seed and you're going to continue to let it do that, once you've gotten the seeds off of it that you want, you will want to go ahead and just rip out the rest of that plant and get rid of it, discard it. The plant that's still in the ground will not be good for eating. It will be in various conditions depending on the plant we're talking about. But when I pulled that out of the ground, what was left was a very stubby, poorly looking parsnip. So not a big deal. It was fine. It was feeding itself, feeding this big plant that it turned into. But you don't need to do anything else with that. You wouldn't want to keep it, etc. Just get it out of your garden. So now where my strawberry patch is, it can go back to exclusively being a strawberry patch. Next thing that I wanted to go over was just the little seed saving pouch that I just recently bought. So I did a video previously where I said you can save seeds however you want to, and I had my paper packets similar to this, or the store-bought ones that you're going to see when I open this. I just had them all in a plastic baggie just for keeping them somewhat organized, keeping them all in the same place. But I recently bought this off Amazon, so I will link this in the description of the video. But it comes with these for saving your own seeds. And then of course you can put in it seeds for any kind of store-bought packaged seeds. These are some acorn squash seeds that I saved from last year. I have pumpkin seeds like that too, carrot seeds, etc. I just organized mine by alphabetical order for now. These pouches are two-sided, so you slide the seed packet in this way, flip it to the next side of itself, and there's another pouch. So there's quite a bit of storage. I can't remember how many it said, but it'll say in the Amazon description. It's a little bit smaller than I thought it was, just in terms of like the size, but actually that's not a bad thing. It's a good space saver, so that doesn't hurt anything. The one observation I do have about this so far, and I should have thought of this, was just that if you're saving bulky seeds like any kind of squash plant, corn, beans such as green beans or peas, they are going to make the seed packet chunkier, thicker, etc. So if all the seeds are resting down on this side of the seed container, then it makes this pouch thing kind of fat on one end, skinny on the other, and could, cause a problem. But I've got this nearly full, and I'm still able to snap that closed really easily. And like I said, that might be why they made it super flexible like that. You could also just like I did with this, I kind of pinned the seeds backwards up and down just so that they weren't all collecting at the bottom and making this plastic envelope chunkier. But anyway, I have found this to be very handy so far, and certainly more aesthetic than my plastic Ziploc freezer bag situation I had going on. It comes with these, like I said, and you can also order more of these online as needed. I think you could use these for a long time though, because you can reuse a seed pocket from year to year for several seasons if you wanted, before needing to discard it. You're going to write the seed information on here that you think is important, and obviously date collected, mainly like the month and year that you collected it, noting that it's going to be for the next growing season. So you could always, if it's the same seed packet from year to year, you could just cross out your date and put the next date, etc. Growing notes. There's all kinds of extra space on this side too. I'm going to do a couple of these because I really only need one packet for myself, but I'm going to make some of these packets for other people as well. Here, I'm just kind of getting off any of that extra stuff that is on a plant that I might not need. Get things like this out of there that we don't want in our seed packet. And then the rest of this is fine. Now, a commercial seed facility would have a way to kind of get an estimated count on the seeds. Obviously, I don't have machinery like that. So we're just guessing. There's probably 100 to 200 seeds in each little packet here. There's what we're left with. Just to be clear, each one of these flower clusters is called an umbel, and each umbel can have several hundred to around 1,000 seeds. So that's pretty cool. That's a lot. Again, more than you would need. Definitely plenty to share. And again, always pick the larger seed, and don't pick ones that are smaller, green, dark brown or dingy like the one I showed earlier in the video. Now, they don't always have to be this whitish tan color. Sometimes they're a reddish brown as well in the center. I'm going to try to find one of those to show you. Okay, perfect. So this is kind of the ones that you want to try to get. This would be a pile of an example of ones not to keep. And remember, seed saving works best with heirloom seeds. So if you bought heirloom seeds from a store or a company online, those seeds are going to save better than if you buy ones that are hybrid or that have been modified in any way. Those either will not generate the plant again for you next year, or it won't quite grow correctly or to the size that it should normally. And lastly, learning from a very small error that I made here. You see how I cut, there's the umbel itself, the part that has the seeds. And then when I was cutting off the plant, I just cut way down on the stem. I'm not really sure why I did that, other than the plant was so tall and I was just trying to cut something more manageable. And certainly it is more manageable. But what I realized was, as I'm sitting here trying to pick them out of the pile, they're getting stuck together kind of like Velcro. And they're sending seeds flying all over the place. Not terrible for the table that I'm trying to use to harvest on per se, but they're ending up all over my floor. They're getting stuck to my shirt, that sort of thing. When you're removing them from the umbel, a really easy thing to do is just kind of grab them like that. See how they come right off? And then, well, these are not good ones, so I'm gonna chuck them. But then I have my seeds in my hand and I can just put them right in the bag, rather than having them fall all over my table, because I kind of put them in this big pile. So what I was going to suggest is cut up closer to where the umbel is. And I mean, they're still gonna get stuck in a pile, I guess, if you put them in a pile that way. But it's been very hard for me to like pull these out by the stem and not have them just drop seeds everywhere. Okay, everybody, I hope that you found this video helpful today. We're gonna stop right here because this is pretty simple, straightforward process. I didn't want the video to be too terribly long. If you have any questions about anything I did or anything else that maybe you should do that I didn't cover, definitely leave a comment to ask a question. I'd be glad to answer that for you. And I hope this video today was helpful. Please like, subscribe, and share our channel, and have a great day. Well, hey, Daniel. So you got to kind of watch Mom harvest these parsnip seeds. What did you think about that?
Well, these parsnip seeds are so tiny.
They are so tiny.
You could lose them, which I'm not happy about. But if you don't lose them, lucky you. These parsnip seeds, these are really good, and they're really fragile.
They're really fragile? Yeah, that's a good point.
But yeah, make sure you plant them in the ground and they're turned to carrots. And yeah, bye everyone and have a great day.
Bye.